if you break up life into different seasons, you can concentrate your focus during that season. So for example, if you are building a business, then there's a specific season for that, and you're all in for that time period. Maybe you need 90 days or 6 months, and during that time, that's where your main focus is. So whatever it is that you're building or you're focusing on, try not to have too many dominating things in one season. So you don't want too many things competing for your time. That's where you can get really overwhelmed, frustrated, because you're going to have a hard time staying up on all of those. So if you're in a season where you're like, okay, this is my workout health season, then everything else kind of has to boost that up. For example, if you're really focused on health and fitness, you're not going out to eat with friends, you're not drinking, you're focused on that big goal. So you've one big goal, and then all these other little goals, little things, those are the daily things that help you achieve that big goal. So if the big goal is working out or getting in shape or fitness or health or just overall a healthy lifestyle, you want to cultivate a healthy lifestyle, then little daily things, you have to make those little daily choices. For example, walking 30 minutes or incline cardio, working out, obviously, taking supplements. So they're little choices that are going to support that big goal. Now, that doesn't mean that during that time period you don't have any fun and you're like, oh, I'm never going to have a bowl of ice cream or whatever. You are, but you're going to be really mindful of it because you know that that's not supporting the big goal. And everyone in the household, if it's a healthy goal, obviously, and they know, hey, you're trying to get healthy, then they should respect that and also help with that. So if you're like, hey, sweets is my biggest thing, please don't bake anything for like the next 2 weeks. If you could just, when I was really trying to get healthy, I would come home from the gym, and sweets is like I just love cake, ice cream, anything sweet. I mean, I would be all in. Not just like, it wasn't like, 1 cupcake. I needed like 5 or 6 or 10. I don't know. It was so good. So I'd come home and my daughter, look, I just baked a chocolate cake. And it would smell so good, and you're tired, and you're like, and you're supposed to go straight for a protein after you work out. So I'd be like, hurry, I gotta get my protein in first before I'm tempted, and they'd be fresh out of the oven. Like, I don't know, of course she didn't time it that way, but they'd be fresh out of the oven, smelling delicious. And a lot of times I'd be like, give me one of those, I'll take one of those. And it's hard because then you're just like, dang it, I'm supposed to have protein right after, and I just had sugar. So that's gonna happen, obviously. It wouldn't make her feel bad or anything. So I was like, and she wanted me to taste it because that's in homeschooling, we focus on skills. Baking is one of them. You lean into what your kids love to do. She loves baking, cooking, creating, finding recipes. And so I want to cultivate that, grow that, and not be like, no, I'm not going to taste that when they're so excited. I just made my first cake or whatever. So, but what I'm saying is that most of the time, everything else you're doing is supporting that big goal. Now, if you have too many big goals and you're like, okay, this season I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to declutter my whole house and change all my spending habits, that's too much at one time. Back it up and split it up into different seasons. So I like to do 90-day sprints followed by a 90-day rest. That doesn't mean I'm not doing anything. I'm just backing up and pivoting, because you don't want to sprint your whole life. You're going to get exhausted. But you also can't be lazy your whole life and be like, well, I'm in my lazy season, my homebody season for 10 years. You know what a homebody season is going to give you? A home body. Have you ever seen a home body? You're not going to like it, and neither is your spouse. So you have to still be mindful of maintaining healthy habits during whatever season you're in. One of the biggest lessons I've learned is to not be too attached. If a season is ending, or you just know the season is coming to an end, could be at a place that you're living, could be at a job, could be a friendship. It's a season that's ending. Don't be too attached. When we're gripping our way through life and we are really holding on to something that God's trying to remove from our hands. He's trying to remove it so you can experience something else, so you can come up higher so you can have the desires of your heart. He says he gives us the desires of our heart. So we have to trust when he's moving us to a new season that it's to give us the desires of our heart, even if it looks different and may not even be exactly what you planned. Trust him that he's going to give you those deep down desires of your heart. For me, being transparent, I want a peaceful, simple life. For the most part, I have it. But anytime you're an entrepreneur or you're building a business or you have, you're self-employed, it is not peaceful and it's not simple. It's hectic and stressful, and there's a lot to do. And I know that God says too much has given, much is required. So I understand that a lot is required of me to show up. But at some point, you have to be willing to make certain adjustments to maybe propel yourself even farther in life, and be willing to say, okay, what's not working? What am I holding on to that is no longer producing? Maybe 6 months ago or a year ago, it was producing fruit. Now it's just producing tiny little buds, and those buds aren't growing. And you're like, okay, why isn't this producing? I'm doing everything exactly the same, putting in the same amount of time. I'm showing up every day. I'm being my best. I'm trusting you, God, but where's the fruit? Sometimes he is trying to get your attention to say, there's no longer fruit right there. I need you to move to a different place. I need you to cultivate different soil. There's other people that need you. There's other things I want you to experience. Will you go? Are you willing to go? Are you willing to move? Make a move. Again, not necessarily physical, but are you willing to change? Are you willing to adjust? Are you willing to let go of your old ways? Are you willing to take that step of faith? I know it sounds, again, so cliche, take a step of faith, but hearing it and actually doing it are two different things. It's this is one of the things in the Christian community. There's so much talk, very little doing. And I'm a Christian. I love Jesus. I walk with him daily. But he says, go out into the world, make disciples of many nations. So you are to go out and do the hands and feet of Jesus. So you're the hands and the feet. Means you're doing, you're in action. You can't be hidden away all the time. But he also wants you to have a place of rest. He wants you to pull back sometimes. Even Jesus, he needed rest. We have to refuel ourselves for that next day and that next day. So it's a balance of both things, not necessarily doing, going all the time, but not resting all the time. You have to know when to do one and when to do the other, when to focus on building, like with anything, a time for sowing, a time for reaping, a time for harvest. There's specific seasons for that. And if you do it out of season, a lot of times you don't get the fruit that you thought you were going to get. You don't get the harvest that you thought you were going to get because you're doing it at the wrong time. And you might say, well, how do I know? How do I know it's God telling me to do this? How do I know? If you're getting the same message multiple times over and over in your spirit, when you're walking with him daily, you know his voice. So you know when he's telling you to do something. You know the words, and there's no doubt in your mind that you're like, okay, God, I heard you and I'm going to move. So it's obedience. Obedience is there's obedience and there's sacrifice. In my opinion, I think obedience is more important than sacrifice because you're obeying, and then there's trust there. He knows you're going to do what he's called you and asked you to do. He knows he can rely on you. You know what? You're not so attached to something. You're not so attached to a house. You're not so attached to your to-do list. So this is a big one. It's a big one for me because I live off lists. I love to-do lists. If it's not on my list, I probably forgot about it. I have to write everything down. I write the dates of things, my calendar. I schedule things. It's my lists are like my best friends. I even have to remind myself, spend time with Jesus in the morning before I get involved with everything else, because I go straight to work and straight to checking things. And so, but I gotta be careful to not let that list control every aspect of my life, and that I'm allowing room for life to be a mom, not missing out on those opportunities and passing the time doing something, and if for content creators, you can get so busy on your own business, your content creation, your YouTube, your Instagram, me. And now I understand that might be the income bringing in for your family, but it's really important to have a balance and to know, again, the seasons. My busy season on Instagram, and like to know it and everything, is around the holidays. It's because I'm showing up. It's like it's not even hard. It's so easy because that's a season that I love, and I'm just sharing what I love. I'm sharing the things that I find. I'm sharing the Christmas decorations, the holiday festivities, the movies, the baking, the ice skating, the snow. I'm sharing all of it. So it's so easy. Right now, it's a little bit harder for me to show up on Instagram because I'm pulling back a little bit. I'm simplifying. Do people want to see that? Maybe. I show that I'm getting rid of stuff. I'm simplifying. I feel like we're entering into a new season as a family, something totally different than we've experienced, and I'm open to it. And so that's why I'm showing up on YouTube every day, because as I go through it, I feel like maybe there are other people out there going through some of the same things. Maybe not exactly the same, but maybe they're going through similar things. Maybe they are wanting a simplified life, a peaceful life. Maybe less is more right now. Maybe people are they're uneasy about the economy, so they're pulling back, and they're like, what do I do? Do I stock up on food? Should I, you can't go live in fear. You can't just run away. You have to show up. God wants to use you. He's going to take care of you and protect you. But you got to be willing to let go of bad habits. You got to be willing to let go of destructive cycles. You got to snap out of it. Like, snap out of the nonsense. It's so much nonsense that we're so involved in, wasting time and doing things that are not important and not producing. It's just wasting time. I think God's trying to get all of our attention right now and say, hey, you walk with me daily, not just on Sundays, not just at Christmas. It's a daily thing. So I'm showing up in a way it's easy because it's flowing, because I'm going through it. So I'm sharing it, thinking that, God, maybe there's other women going through some similar things, that I can help at this time. So again, it's not about living a complete frugal lifestyle and not having anything. We want abundance, and everybody wants to develop and grow. And so an abundant life is part of the simplicity. It's like a simple abundance at the same time. It's not an abundance in the form of more greed, self-indulgence. It's abundant in the important things, in the simple things, in the things that matter, in the things that you love, in the things that bring you joy. If decorating brings you joy and that's, really important, then you might have more in your home than somebody who's more minimal and it's not as important to them. And maybe that person who's more minimal, they're really interested in supplements, and they have a cabinet full of vitamins and supplements. So we all have something that we have an abundance of, clothes or shoes. I'm talking physically, having a physical abundance of something. But don't be too attached to all of that, because what happens is we become one with that. That becomes like our identity, where we think, well, I need this because it's part of who I am and it's part of what I do. I used to I would never show up on Instagram with roots like this. Are you kidding me? I never let anyone see this. Dark hair, some gray hair, no mascara on, I would never show up like that. And now I'm just like, well, whatever. Like, it's life. So what? I haven't had my hair done in 6 months. It's expensive now. And I'm letting it grow because it fell out. So I'm leaving it natural. So not that I have to explain it all to everybody watching, but you know what I'm saying? You just learn to be real, show up, live life, and then you can share your life and what's important to you during whatever season that you're going through. When I'm in a training season and I'm working out consistently 7 days a week, 5 to 7 days a week, I'm sharing about it because that's what I'm doing. So all I'm doing is sharing what season I'm in, and maybe it resonates with somebody else during that season or not. So this spring and summer is a time to really reset. I don't know why that word keeps popping up in my mind. I keep hearing reset, pivot, position yourself, position your life. Maybe there's something coming in the future, a bumpiness. I heard the words buckle up before. So I'm leaning into that simplified reset, not in fear. In fact, I'm actually really excited to. And I'm letting go of things, not just physical things, but I'm letting go of things that I can't handle, burdens. or things that used to bother me, any resentment, guilt, unforgiveness. I'm letting go of it all. And I've let go of, as you're letting go in the physical, you're letting go in the spiritual. You're mentally relieving, like getting rid of, unloading it. And you're giving it to God, and you're saying, okay, God, I want to walk a light path. What's it like to live simple, free, and light? To not have the heaviness of so many to-dos. To not have the heaviness of, I got to bring my kid to all these different sports all the time, and the kid's exhausted. To not have the heaviness of working on a house nonstop. To not have that heaviness of it's just heavy all the time. I got to do this and I got to do that. I want to know what that's like, because I've lived going, doing. What's it like to live that simple, peaceful life where you're walking, you're like walking with light step, and you're full of joy, and you realize, you know what? I have everything I need. What's that like?